As you can see that today we are going to have the final review of the Sutta. You may have seen that I have given you a blog post where you see all the notes in one blog post, so you can go and check them. Are you ready to answer any questions that I may have for you? So, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is regarded as the first sutta which the Buddha taught anybody else. I would say, in this case, 5 ascetics. And we know that in this sutta, what we noticed was that only one monk. So can we call that monk as a Buddhist monk or a monk? Okay. The word called samana. Samanas were existing even before the Buddha's time, right? Do you know the difference between samana and the brahmanas? Probably no, right? In ancient India, they had this, the Brahmins. The Brahmins always thought that they would listen to the Vedas, right? Vedas. So the Vedas cannot be questioned. Vedas are Vedas. I'm talking about the time, I would say 1500 BC, right? So that means BCE. That means 1,500 years before the Shakyamuni Buddha's time. But later on, probably a couple hundred centuries before the Shakyamuni Buddha's time, some individuals thought that we are not going to understand the reality from these books that have been asked us to, I would say, believe, that we must believe what they are, right? That kind of a notion should not be accepted anymore. So we have to search through our personal, mental pursuits. So they are called a new tradition. We call them as Samana tradition. What is it called? Samana tradition. Now, Samana tradition is very interesting because they are the ones who divided from the Vedic tradition, where they talk about that we can create a mental connection to our search, truth search, and then find the liberation at a certain point. Do you remember that Prince Siddhartha saw one monk? Remember in his childhood, which turned him to think about something else in his life. It is said that he saw 4 omens, I would say prognostications. We call them as a sick person, an elderly person, a corpse we carried by a couple of people, and then a monk. So who is this monk? That means somebody from the Shramana tradition. So Shramana tradition was existing even before the Buddha's time. So we can understand that these 5 ascetics must have practice. One of the schools of the Shramana traditions. Anyways, only Kondanya was able to become a Sotapa. The rest was not able to understand the Dhamma in that perspective. All right, so let's take a look at the Sutta again. The first day. All right, so first day, what happened was that we discussed about the text a little bit in details, I mean the context. As you can see, I have divided the text into the background story. That is the first one, setting the wheel of the Dhamma in motion. And we said that there is something interesting, Dhammacakka. Pavattana. Chakka is Chakka is wheel, and Pavattana is what you call motion. Right? Now let me ask you, where is this Dhammacakka in the Sutta? You might imagine a Dhammacakka, like a very nominal Dhammacakka. You see Dhammacakka with some spokes. But what kind of Dhammacakka is being discussed in this Sutta? Where is the Dhammacakka teaching in the Sutta? I will give you a clue. Let's go back here. Day 18. We discuss an interesting teaching about the Four Noble Truths. We discuss that the Four Noble Truths is being discussed within a framework of 3 perspectives and 12 aspects, Tiparivatta and Dwadasaka. And you remember that teaching? Tiparivatta, Dwadasaka. It is because of the Tiparivatta and Dwadasaka that we call that there is a Dhammacakka. Because it is an ancient teaching where the wheel is being used to talk about the most important teachings. Now here, Dhammacakka has to be understood as a framework of the Tiparivatta Dwadasakara wheel. Because some people have a misunderstanding that Buddha made a Dhammacakka and then he sent forth his monks, and that is how he actually brought this Dhamma to different places. It is true, it is what we see in the history, but Dhammacakka in this particular sutta, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, alludes to the Tiparivatta and Dwadasakara framework of the Four Noble Truths. Right? Please keep that in mind. All right, so the first is the sutta and then the background story. And then there Buddha talks about that monks should not search 2 paths. What are the 2 paths that any monk should not follow? What are they? Kamasukhallikānu yoga and Atthakilamatānu yoga. Now we will learn a little bit more what they are. We discuss Kamasukhallikānu yoga to be the summarized version of an extreme indulgence to the sensual pleasures. Especially now, monks are not supposed to even to tend to calmers, but lay people, they may have to use some level of calm, healthy calms, right? But they are not supposed to cling to the calms, right? What does clinging mean here? Greed, probably a greed toward the sensual object. Can we be in the company of anybody? Can we use an object without the greed of that particular object? Can we? We can. But it is a tough work, tough task. But it is possible, right? So Kamasukhallikānu means never follow any path that is already falling into the excessive sensuality, right? And then the second one is Atthakilamatānu yoga. As for the Atthakilamatānu yoga, what we learned was the Buddha asked monks not to follow extreme sealers, excessive sealers. We call it in other Pali word. What do we call in Pali? Silabbata paramasa. We need sila, but we should not practice any extreme sila. Can somebody tell me how can someone practice extreme sila? Now you know that at the beginning of any ceremony, you are going to take precepts. When you go to a retreat, you are taking 8 precepts, right? When you go to a puja, you take the 5 precepts. So sila is normal to us, right? There's no harm. But when can a sila become an extreme level? That should be stopped. Because the next level of sila is samadhi. If you are following sila too much, not too much, I would say excessive, unnecessarily, then you are going to miss out on the samadhi part. Then, even at the level of samadhi, if you are only focusing on samadhi, you are not going to think about the next level of samadhi. That means panya. That my samadhi, my meditation should continue to samadhi. Not just samadhi, I'm okay, I'm happy, I'm peaceful. No, only not that teaching. That doesn't make any sense. Why we are practicing meditation after sila? It is to concentrate us. But what is the price of a mere concentration? Right? Because when I go back home, when you go back home, you will get change again. Then my meditation should go beyond samadhi, panya, sila, samadhi, panya. Never end up at sila, never end up at samadhi. Panya is the goal. Then, why did the Buddha talk about Artha-Kilamatana Yoga? Because Artha-Kilamatana Yoga means these people never indulge in karma. You look at the 5 ascetics, they are giving so much pain to the body. They haven't had a shower for, I think, for more than decades. They had what you call dirt, like a tiller in some of the suttas Buddha talks about. And then they are naked. And they said that we don't wear clothes because we have no attachments to their clothes. The Buddha said that doesn't make any sense. People wear clothes not just to tell them, not to tell others that we have no attachments, so we have attachments. Right? Now, in the next sutta that we are going to discuss, there is a section talk about the purpose of our clothing. So at the same time, Jains had a lot of excessive practices. So they are reflections about extreme sila, right? So you are merely keeping away from killing, keeping away from what you call stealing, and then you are loving and taking care of your family, your spouse, your children. That is a must. That is what we see in the Sigalovada Sutta. That is what we see in the Mangala Sutta, right? And then that is what we see in the Kamisumichachara, right? And then you are not a liar. You are practicing your truthfulness. At the same time, you are not clouding your mind with unnecessary things. So, if you do these 5 intentionally, then you have the sila. Then you have to focus on the next level of the sila. The next level of the sila is what will benefit me from this sila. Now, I think my mind is not that distracted. That is why in the Western mindfulness, they are having some issues. In the Western mindfulness, most of the Western mindfulness teachers don't talk about sila part. Because you can't talk about sila over there. Don't tell me what to do. Right? Teach me meditation. Don't tell me what to do, what not to do. So sila is being mostly ignored in many places. There may be places, but mostly. Then what happens? Whatever the mistakes such people may have done because of not practicing the sila will pop up as distractions in the meditation. That is why sila is important, just to the extent of not getting you distracted. And then the next level is samadhi. Samadhi, what we understand is just to calm our thoughts, but not to like jhanas so much. This is the next issue a lot of people face. A lot of people, they end up with sila. Some other few people, they get stuck at the jhanas. I like first jhana, the second, third, fourth, and then they get stuck to the jhana. Well, you might develop some jhanas. You may. But jhanas are not samma sati. They are samma samadhi. It is something beyond the jhanas. You are not simply looking for bliss, happiness of your mind. You are looking for crossing the samsara, right? It is like that you choose one or the other. You don't like this and you choose this one. They all are part of the samsaric thing. Anyways, now going back to Atthakalamatana Yoga, what the Buddha said was that he simply said, these are two ends. Atthakalamatana Yoga means extreme sila. You don't need extreme sila. Practice sila, but don't be extreme. Enjoy your karmas, but don't be too much into karmas. Make your levels. But for the monastics, they can do it in a better way, right? So by not falling into these two ends, you would find out the happiness, the true happiness. How does it relate to the lay people? Now, is this sutta given to the lay people? Let's check it out. Huh? Some people might try to think that this is for the lay people. See here. Dve me bhikkhave anta pabbajitena. Interesting. Pabbajite. Because these two extremes should not be followed by one who has gone forth into pabbaj. Pabbajite. Now, does it relate to lay people over here? Buddha clearly says that pabbajite, those monastics, should not fall into either of ends. But you can learn. Lay people can practice it in their own way. There's no harm. But if you look at a more committed practice for the monastics, they can understand that they should not fall into either areas. What did we discuss after that? Kamasapallipani Yoga, Atthakalamatana Yoga, these are the ends that we should not fall into. And then we discuss about the middle part, right? And then we discuss about the first noble truth, and the second noble truth, third noble truth, fourth noble truth. At the end of discussing the fourth noble truth, we came to the most important teaching of the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. What is it? What is that teaching? I already shared with you at the beginning. Tiparivatta and Dvadasakara teaching of the Four Noble Truths. Four Noble Truths teaching has to be understood through Tiparivatta and Dvadasakara. We will study a little bit again as a review. And then what happened was that, right, that teaching, the framework of Tiparivatta Dvadasakara for the Four Noble Truths goes as far as 117, section 117. And then we understand Venerable Kondanya became a Sotapanna at the end. And then what happened as a result of this first Dhamma teaching, because this is the first Dhamma teaching, the influence of the teaching went to heavens, Deva worlds, as a cry. As a cry means Saddha Manussa Veso. What does it mean? The Devas, Brahmas started to feel that something that never happened. So they were like so much surprised, and something came out of their mouth, like a cry, or something happened. Something we didn't feel before happened. So it started from the human world into the Chatu Maharajika, then it went as far as the final Deva world, and then went up to the Brahma worlds, ended up with the last Brahma world. And then we discuss about Brahma worlds. That's the end. That's what we discuss about the Sutta. So the first day, it was about an introduction about the text. And from the second day onwards, we discuss the important matters one by one. Because today we are going to look at the whole Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta as a review. I would like to discuss some of the very important teachings. Look at it down. We took 20 days to finish the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Right? And it's not just reading the translation. So we had to look at Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta's important aspects from other suttas, and how does Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta convey the message, and all that. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to discuss as a review is the first aspect here, one of the two wrong pursuits, Kama Sukha Yoga. All right, Kama Sukha Yoga. What does Kama Sukha Yoga mean? Anybody? Kama Sukha Yoga. We discuss in a certain way. Kama means sensuality. Sukha means Kama Sukha, pleasure, sensual pleasure. Allika, really? Looks like that you are almost not remembering. Kama Sukha Allika. Allika means clinging. Anuyoga means the practice of clinging to the sensual pleasures. Let's go to the text again a little bit. We discussed Kama means sensual pleasure, Sukha means happiness, Allika means clinging to, Anuyoga means practice, application. So we discussed about Kama and Chanda, remember? This is an interesting aspect of the Sutta, Kama and Chanda. What is the difference between Kama and Chanda? Could you remember? Chanda? What does Chanda mean? Now, when you look at most of the suttas about the right effort, maybe 7 Bojjhangas, you would see Chanda. Chandang Janiti, Viryang Varapati Chittang, Viryang, Varapati Chittam, Pagganhati Chandang Janiti. Chanda means desire. But this desire is ethically positive. I would say it is a good one. Let's say you want to do good karmas. Then what is that desire for? That is not karma, right? That is not karma. Now, when somebody asks somebody else, what do we call for someone who wants to attain Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami? It is a karma. What is the Pali word for that? Is it interesting? Somebody can ask you, you want to attain Nibbana, right? Is it a karma or is it, what is the proper word for that? It is a Chanda. I have a Chanda in attaining Nibbana. I have a Chanda in attaining Soka. I have a Chanda in attaining Sakadaga. I have a Chanda in going to the temple, going to the retreat, offering flowers. Chanda. Not Kama. That is very interesting. So Kama and Chanda has a clear difference. So whenever you want to do something good, then you have to use the Pali word called Chanda. At the same time, Chanda has a negative meaning also. Now, in one of the suttas, Buddha talks about that you may be prejudiced. You may do some favorite things to other people. The Buddha said, Chanda dosa bayamo. People can be prejudiced. People can be biased on 4 things, 4 grounds. Chanda means nepotism, favoritism at that point. Dosa means anger. Because I'm angry, I'm going to do something. I'm going to take my friend's side. I don't want to take that person's side. Then Chanda dosa baya. Because I'm scared. I'm feared. So I'm going to take somebody else's side in this wrong. Moha. I'm very deluded. I'm distracted. So I'm going to take this side. The Buddha said, never ever make any decision being based on Chanda dosa baya. So in that teaching, Chanda is not always ethically positive. That is ethically positive, but it carries good and bad. Isn't it? It carries Now at that point, Chanda can be good, Chanda can be bad. But when you see the, I would say the overall Dhamma teaching, Chanda has to be taken as a kusala effort, right? Any likeness to do the kusala, right? That is what we understand by Chanda. So Kama Sukalli Kama Yoga, there you see Kama, but here you understand Chanda. Chanda is the Pali word we use to discuss, mean about any good effort, any desire to do any good thing in your life. We discussed that. I'm not going to go into too many details. You can read that one. And then we discuss Kama as a part of Buddha's orderly speech, right? Now, when somebody comes to see the Buddha, Buddha always talks in an orderly manner. He does not talk about Nibbana in the first place. He talks about Dana. In that speech, he brings the person into the negativity, I would say the disadvantages of the Kama. So Kama is a very good topic to learn. I think most of the people in this world, beings, every being, is struggling with Kama. It's an unending journey, right? But if people understand their Kamas well, they will manage Kamas well. The problem is not diminishing Kamas. Nobody can diminish Kama. What they can do is they can do a better management with their Kamas, right? Kama is important to learn. And then we learn Kama as a part of the Mara. And then, this is interesting. This is a very interesting sutta. We call it Nibbedika Pariyaya Sutta. Nibbedika Pariyaya Sutta. In this particular sutta, Buddha says there are a couple Dhamma teachings which people have to understand by penetration. How can someone understand certain Dhamma matters? It could be Kama, it could be something else, by penetration. See this. Kama should be known. The cause by which Kama comes into play should be known. The diversity in Kama should be known. The result of Kama should be known. The cessation of Kama should be known. And the path of practice for the cessation of Kama should be known. What does it mean? Now, this is a very good way to understand our own Kamas. Now, because we have Kamas, more or less, to a certain degree, then we have to understand our own Kamas. How can we understand our own Kamas? We have to know the causes of the Kama. Why do I struggle with this particular Kama? Then, what are the different types of Kamas I may have? What are the things that have brought with my Kamas? And Kamas in this teaching is learning by penetration. So don't learn this Kama teaching as a mere teaching like any other normal teaching. If so, you will not make any progress with the Kamas. Buddha said, Kama should be understood by penetration. Nibbedika. Penetration here means that you have to know how does my Kama arise, what are the different types of Kamas I have, how to stop my Kama, and all that. So that is called a penetrative teaching. Kama as a penetrative teaching. And this is also very interesting. We discussed that the Kama is not an object. What do we think about the Kamas? We think, this person is my Kama object. Without this person, I cannot survive. This particular food, this particular thing, and that is my Kama. But the Buddha said, no. They are objects. But Kama is just a conceptual, what do you call it? It is a conceptual lust that you apply to certain objects. If you can get rid of that, if you can diminish that kind of thinking, then you can, I would say, calm yourself. You can train yourself a lot. The Buddha said that there are no Kama objects, but conceptual lust toward different objects. Right? We call it Sankappa. That is also very interesting to learn about Kama Sukalli Kama Yoga. and you can see all that. And we also discussed Kilesa Kama and Vattu Kama. I want you to tell me what they are. What is Kilesa Kama? What is Vattu Kama? Anybody? I thought you would come after reading the text a little bit, huh? Some of the previous notes. It looks like I have to do the lesson again. What is Vattu Kama? What is Kilesa Kama? Now, let's say that you have a liking towards somebody, something. What is it called? We call it Kilesa Kama. That is the first level. In our life, can we do that? Now you like something, somebody, maybe you like a certain object, you like certain goals in your life, but can you always make them happen onto you? You are not, right? In case you make them happen, let's say you are able to possess on such objects, we call it, now you are going into the Vattu Kama, Kilesa Kama and Vattu Kama. So most of our karmas are lying at the level of Kilesa Kama. We like certain things, we like certain people, but we are not going to own them. Right? It is just like a dream. Huh? It arises and then it passes away even within our mindset. But there are certain times you are going to own, physically own those objects, those people. At that point, you are running into the Vattu Kama. Is it bad? No, it is not bad. Let's say you are falling in love with somebody and you are going to marry that person. It's not bad. I mean, but let's talk about other unnecessary karmas that you like these things, you like these people. You don't have to follow all those things. You have to have some restraint. You have to have some some limits, your own moral limits, right? So you are going to make sure that you are not going to pursue those objects. That means you don't go into Vattu Kamas. You are only struggling with the Kilesa Kamas, and you are going to, I would say, get rid of Kilesa Kamas also at a certain point. Very interesting teaching. Now, for those people who are remorseful, who are regretful about their past, you can think about, okay, I had some Kilesas, but maybe they are Kilesa Kamas, not Vattu Kamas. I did not own them. I had Kilesa Kamas. I like those things in my mind, but I did not go on them. So, no Vattu Kamas. Okay? Then we discuss a couple more things. Dangers of karma. That's it. So, overall, what we understood by the Kamasukandikanu Yoga was that a clinging to the karmas. This is the issue. Right? So this is really bringing us lots of issues. Physical issues, mental issues, emotional issues. Sometimes it can carry a lot of damages to us too. Now, when you are someone who is going to have a lot of mortgages, loans, then in the finances, how are you characterized by the finances? You have lots of, there's a word, you have lots of liabilities. Pay back stuff, huh? Pay back 10 years, 30 years, amortization, huh? Mortgage, maybe loans. Huh? So these are mental liabilities. If you are clinging to the karmas, you have to pay back with your life. Mental liabilities. I don't think nobody needs mental liabilities. We want freedom. It doesn't mean that you cannot commit to somebody. Commit to somebody, yes, you can take care of that person. And you can practice Brahma Viharas to your mother, to your father, to your whoever, girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband. They're good. I mean, when you have those people around, you can practice metta, karuna, mudita, upekka easily. But they are next to you. Right? If you don't have, then you have to do it in a certain different. But do not create unnecessary karma liabilities. You will never pay back. The effects will come after you. So Kama Sukha Yoga, in your lay life, to my understanding is that go for healthy karmas. Buddhism is not denying karmas for the lay people. Right? Jains deny. You cannot go to any karmas. Buddha says, no, I'm not going to deny karmas. People need karmas, but they have to understand their parameters of the karmas and they should look for healthy karmas. That is why the Buddha said, Kamesu Michachara Veramani. What does Kamesu Michachara mean? Kamesu Michachara means that you are happy with your, whoever the person you are. Right? This is what the Buddha said. Buddha said it is an important thing. Taking care of a family is a blessing. Isn't it? Where did the Buddha say that? Where did he say so? Mata Pitu Upattana, taking care of the mother and father, is a blessing. Putta Darasa Sangam, taking care of the children and spouse is a blessing. Right? It is a blessing. He never rejected. If somebody is not that, then that person has to find out that happiness in a different way. But it is a blessing. He never neglected that. So Kama Sukha here means that never ever cling to karmas, regardless of you being a lay person or a monk, monastic. Alright? Then Atta Kilamatani. Atta Kilamatani. The third day we discuss about it. Atta Kilamata. Atta means self, Kilamata means fatigue, Anuyoga practice. That means when you practice your Sila, whatever your Dhamma practice, never ever create any fatigue after the practice. Can you tell me an example? Have you ever met this issue in your life? You are going for a meditation retreat and you know you cannot meditate being on the floor. Then should you keep trying to be on the floor? You know you cannot. Go and grab a chair and sit on the chair. Right? I'm sure the monastics are very compassionate to say that. Probably I tell people, if you feel uncomfortable, don't be here. Go grab a chair and sit down, because this is not trying to give pain to our body. Meditation is not giving pain to the body. Meditation is understanding our mind better than when you don't meditate. That is one very small example. Other examples in your normal life, tell me from the Sila part. Have you ever felt any fatigue, any, I would say, weariness with your Sila practice? Can you give me a very simple example? Mosquitoes come into your house, and then should I kill or not? This is the simple question. Say, don't ask me this question. What about why the mosquitoes came into your house? Maybe you have opened your window, you have opened your door, you are not cleaning your house properly, you are not keeping it clean and tidy. Maybe there is an issue in your house. Maybe you have run into a certain area. Right? The good question is, have I done the necessary things so that unnecessary mosquitoes not come into my house? That is a good question. Right? Not asking, should I kill or not, because they are going to attack me. That is going to be a little bit, different question. So, I think now the problem is my Sila. Now, a layperson is to ask, Bhante, Panatipata, right? Should I kill or not? So, that is the point, weariness, that you feel compelled to kill them or not. So, why you bring your Sila practice into that kind of a very difficult situation. So you could do certain things to stop that happening. Right? So there are many examples you can think about. Never ever bring your sila to pressurize you. Someone who practices sila never bring it to a level of pressurization. He does not, she does not pressurize. He is not pressurized by the sila. Sila is a very comfortable, motivational practice to that person. But for many people, I don't think it is. They feel like sila is trying to, you should be, you know. They feel like it's kind of intimidating in a certain way. You know, they might not feel it in that way, but they understand. So never ever bring your sila to intimidate your peace, right? You are going to look at the sources of what you call akusalas, and you are going to prevent unnecessary sources of, making you to do any unnecessary akusalas, and then you are going to practice the sila as it is, right? Not too excessive, not too unnecessary. Because if you practice sila excessively, then what will happen? You are not going to attain sotapanna anytime soon. Why is it? This is one of the fetters that the Buddha said, that what distance people from becoming a sotapanna? Silabbata parang. Sakkaya ditthi vicikicca silabbata parang. Because then think about it. If somebody is doing a lot of sila, over sila, then that person must be a sotapanna, definitely. But he is not, she's not. Why? That itself is a fetter, impediment, hindrance to becoming a sotapanna. Don't take it that serious. Don't take sila that seriously. But do the necessary. Never kill, never steal, never misbehave, never lie, never cloud your mind. That's it. Nothing more than that. That's enough. Sila has a certain moral compass, certain moral parameter. So, atta kilamatana. There are a lot of things you can think about that might have made you weary or fatigued. Never ever spiritually fatigued, right? That is going to be an issue to your practice. That is atta kilamatana yoga. All right, so you can read that. You can see how the Buddha taught atta kilamatana yoga. And then we discussed the Noble Eightfold Path. We said that there is a misconception about the Noble Eightfold Path and the Satipatthanas. What was it? I want to ask you. I told you that there's a misconception between the Satipattana Suttas abstract and the Noble Eightfold Path across the Buddhist teachings. What was it? In the Satipattana Sutta, there is a very famous Suddhya Soka Pariddavanang Samtikkama Dukkha Domanassanang Attangama Yadidang Chattaru Satipattana Ekayano Ayam Bhikkave Manno. Some people misunderstood. They thought the only path is Satipatthana. The only path is Satipatthana to become Sotapanna, initiate. It is not how we have to understand. The only path is the Noble Eightfold Path. Satipatthana is inside of that. Because it comes under Samma Sati. That thing you have to understand very clearly. I clearly emphasize that Satipatthanas go under the Samma Sati. Right? So, that is very interesting. We need to understand that. Satipatthana Sutta's whole analysis and synthesis go under the Samma Sati, which comes under. I suspect any misunderstanding must have come from the 19th century Vipassana movement from different countries, Burma, because this was a time that what you call colonization has happened in Burma, Sri Lanka, and all these countries. So They had to show the Westerners that we have some very radical enlightenment elements in our teachings. But in the early Buddhism, what is early Buddhism? Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya. This is Buddhism, early Buddhism. Theravada is a teaching that has a lot of other books, but early Buddhism is Digha, Majjhima, Samyutta, Anguttara, whereby Theravada came up, Mahayana came up, and all the other branches came up. In early Buddhism, we find that it is only the Noble Eightfold Path, which we understand by the sole path to attaining, becoming a Sotapanna, and the rest. That thing we discussed during the Noble Eightfold Path, day 4. Then we discuss one by one of the path factors, Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, and so forth. Now, let me ask you. Probably I'm not going to open up all these links. I might ask you some basic questions about Samma Ditti. Tell me, what does Ditti play in our practice? Why do we have to start our path from the Ditti? So Dhamma path from Sammasati, why not? Maybe from Sammavacha, maybe from Samma Kamma. Why can't we start our path from Dhamma journey from those things? But why the Buddha asked to start from Samma Ditti? Anybody tells me? Because I already explained to you. Why can't we start from other, probably other path factors? Why we have to start from Samma Ditti? Oh, there's somebody. You want to come forward? Yeah. You want to come forward and then ask the question. Yes. Very good. Yes, it is the foundation. It is the foundation. Yes, yes. It is the foundation. Now you think about, you are going to make a house without the foundation. What will happen to the house? You are trying to build the walls and all these things, but there is no good solid foundation. What will happen to the house after that? It will fall down. Maybe it will be, what do you call, swept away by natural disasters. Now, let me tell you, a lot of people might think this is something very simple. It is not simple. It's not trivial. You may talk, you may act, you may live your life according to your way of making money. You may practice meditation. You may concentrate your mind. Whatever you do as such will not going to be successful if you do not start any of those practices with samadhi. Samadhi is the bedrock, the foundation of our practice. Your Dhamma journey has to be on a solid foundation of samadhi. What is samadhi? Samadhi initially means that we believe, we respect 10 things. Right? We believe in dana, we believe in giving, we believe in kusala kammas, we consider our mother is a special person, we consider our father is a... Why we have to think that our father, mother, they are special people for our Dhamma journey? What is the connection? Gratitude. You cannot practice your Dhamma journey, start your Dhamma journey without being grateful to the people who brought you into this world. Gratitude. Now, this is the problem when somebody starts from Samma Sati meditation itself. You just practice it something for that day and then don't know where I'm heading, why I started this practice. For what? That is why Samadhi prepares anybody to the whole practice. Now, let's take the second one, Samma Sankappa. The Buddha says, only when you have Samma Ditti, you will have Samma Sankappa. This is the other very interesting area. Why is it? Only when you have good view, right view, then the right intentions keep starting. Otherwise, you won't have thoughts of intentions of not killing, avyapada, not harassing other people, even renunciation thoughts, intentions. They will not arise in you. In our reading of the many suttas, not even Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, what I understand is that you cannot practice Sammasati without practicing Samadhi. You will do something, but it is not Samma. It is just a Sati. It is just a Sangha. Because they have to start from that Samadhi point. Okay. Let's say now I have Samadhi, then whatever the intentions that come to my mind, they are Samma Sangha. Definitely Samma Sangha. Then when I have Samma Sankappa, everything that I speak, whatever the words that come out of my speech, they're gonna be Samma. Why? They are rooted in the Samadhi. I cannot lie to anybody. I cannot talk behind the back. I cannot slam. I cannot hurt anybody because I know Samadhi. I cannot do that. I know Kamma Vipaka. I know good, bad karmas. I cannot do that. I cannot gossip. Why? If I gossip, I know there are certain consequences that I learned from Samadhi. So directly, Samma Vacha also directly connected to Samadhi. Then, Samma Kamma, my actions. Because I know Kamma, good Kamma, bad Kamma, I cannot kill anybody. I cannot steal. I cannot misbehave. Because I learned that when I start from Samadhi, my right view is rooted upon those ethical values. Then, Samma Kammanta, Samma Aji. Then, as a layperson, you may do a certain job. You cannot be jobless. You have work. My job. What kind of job? Or maybe how do I do my job? I know when I start my practice at the level of Samadhi, the right view, I cannot cheat other people to make money. It's a part of the Kamma. I cannot cheat. I cannot mislead people with my products. In my job, always go back to Samadhi. Then, Samma Vayama. Now we have come to the very important point of your Samadhi practice now. Now I have the very good ethical practice based on my Samadhi. Now, what about my Vayama, my effort now? You know that everybody thinks that they all have to be hardworking. Does Samma Vayama means hardworking? What does Samma Vayama mean? Now, already in the society, they have a dialogue between hardworking people and lazy people. So, do we have to choose hardworking people to talk about Samma Vayama? What does Samma Vayama mean? Samma Vayama means not hardworking. You cannot hard work for the Dhamma. Dhamma is not a hardworking practice. It's a smooth, smart practice. Just because you practice a lot of Sila for 10 years, it doesn't guarantee you will do the rest better on the first day of the 11th year. It is a smooth, smart practice. Let me tell you a very interesting story. There was a very virtuous Sila monk who practiced Sila very well, perfectly. But one day, something happened to him in his very, I would say, in his response. Not a big deal, nothing happened. Nothing happened, nobody was hurt. But it is said in the Vinaya that plants, they have a certain life. Buddha said, do not cut the trees. Well, they have a certain life. So, because of this teaching, breaking a branch is kind of a very small, I would say, a small mistake in the Vinaya. Right? He had not done anything wrong. But when he was going to pass away, he was thoughtful about this thing. Oh, I was so good, but this happened. Then what happened to him? He passed away. He became a very big cobra in the monastery. In the monastery. Why is it? because he passed away with anger, hatred, because he had self-hatred. I did that mistake, I did it, I couldn't have done it. The Buddha said, if you did the mistake, then try not to do it again. Don't keep thinking about it. The more you think about it, the more you are giving self-hatred. Now, what I understand is that particular monk had no samadhi, only sila. That's why he could not concentrate on whatever the good things he did. He only picked up the bad, small bad thing. That is unnecessary. It's like there's a whiteboard and you see a black mark somewhere in the whiteboard and you are picking on the black mark. You don't look at the rest of the larger space of the whiteboard. Right? That's why I'm saying it's a smart practice. A lot of people cannot do that. Buddhist practice is a smart practice, not a cunning practice, a smart practice, smooth, smart practice. Otherwise, a lot of people make mistakes even within being a good people. Right? So, this is a very interesting point. Samma Vayama means not hard working. Just because you are so much tired with a lot of Dhamma programs, it doesn't guarantee you are going to be reborn in a good place. It does not guarantee you are progressing around. So, but if you know the path well, Samma Vitti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha, Samma Kambhaka, Samma Ajiva, Samma Vayama, Samma Sati. Alright, so what is Samma Vayama then? It is not a hard working practice. Don't hard work for Dhamma. Just do it in a good way, with good intentions. It does not guarantee it. What is Samma Vayama? I think you remember that. I'm going to give you a clue. Remember that I talked about a vegetable gardening project? Remember? Then how did I connect Samma Vayama to the vegetable gardening project? There are four things that we have to do in our Dhamma practice. The first one, removal. Second one, prevention. Third one, creating. Fourth one, maintenance. Removing existing active akusalas. Preventing inactive akusalas. They are not with you. Creating inactive kusalas. Maintaining, deepening active kusalas. Let me explain a little bit more. Removing active akusalas, that means you have a vegetable garden. You can take it as a simile for that. You already have what you call weeds and unnecessary things. Let's start from the prevention. Let's say you have a vegetable garden. You don't have weeds so far. So, does that guarantee that weeds will not come to your garden? It won't. So you have to prevent. Let's say you are not that bad, huh? But does it guarantee that you will not be bad in the future? It won't. So the Buddha said, prevent any inactive akusalas, remove existing active akusalas, and then create new kusalas. Tell me an example. Create new kusalas. Anybody wants to say how you can create a new kusala that you haven't done it before? Kusala? How to create a new kusala? How many kusalas do we have? How many kusalas do we have? Skillful activities do we have? Can we do? 10 kusala activities. Can you divide them into 3? I can make it a little easier. How many kusala activities we can do by the mind, by the speech, by the body? 3 kusalas by the mind, 3 kusalas by the body, 4 kusalas by the speech. That means we can do more kusalas by the mouth, by the speech. 4 kusalas. Because after you do a good karma, you might talk about it, right? It's like some people do the post-mortem of the good karmas. Post-mortem. They do a big ceremony, and then after that they talk about it. They are lucky if they can only talk about good stuff about the activity, not getting ended up by choosing people. So there are 3 kusala activities by your mind. First one is not being covetous, not too much greedy about anything. Then not having ill will, not having micchaditthi. These are the 3 kusalas that you can do by your mind. What about the body? Not killing other beings, not stealing other people's stuff, not misbehaving by the body. Then by the mouth, by the speech, what are they? By not lying, not slandering, not hurting other people, not gossiping, idle chatting. So now these are the things you can, the opposite of these 10. How do we see the opposite? Always try to let go and become a generous person. Always trying to wish good things for other people. For your enemies, even your enemies. Does Buddhism tell you to spread the hate to anybody just because something happened from that person? Can you hate? Does the Buddha say you can hate someone because that person done something wrong to you? You cannot. But it might be a tough thing to do, but if you understand Buddhism, you will never think about even doing it. So, not having ill will, that means having someone. So if you look at the opposite of these 10, you will find out new kusalas. Right? Let's say you are not someone who is thinking how your speech can hurt other people. But one day you get to understand that I have some problems in my speech when I talk. Maybe the way I talk a little bit more straight, and then other people get offended by my speech. Then from that day onwards, you are going to be a little bit careful about your speech. Then what are you doing here? You are creating a new kusala. You haven't done it before. Right? So things like that, you are creating new kusala. So having effort to create new kusala. The last one under Samma Vayam is that you are going to maintain your existing kusalas. Right? So this is called Samma Vayam. Now, is Samma Vayam very important? It is very, very important. Because another very interesting issue that a lot of Buddhist people are going through is inconsistent practice. What do I mean by inconsistent practice? They practice for 1 or 2 months, and then after that they feel very lazy about Dhamma practice. I don't want to do anything. Maybe another 3-4 months I'm going to do it again. Dhamma practice is a committed practice. You don't have to be very much struggling. If you struggle, let me tell you, if you struggle in your Dhamma, talk to a teacher, whoever, who can guide you. If you struggle in your practice, whatever the practice, maybe meditation, maybe your sila practice, samadhi, panya. Right? So, inconsistent Dhamma practice comes from laziness. People become lazy in their Dhamma practice. You should not be lazy. Lazy does not mean that you are going to sleep. Being lazy means that you are not adequately committing to the development of the kusala activities. That is the inconsistency by laziness. Samma Vayama helps you not to do that. Samma Vayama always gives you enough strength to practice it. All day long, all night long, all the time, 24, 365. Not 1 day, 2 day, 1 week, 2 week, 1 month. It is a continuous practice. Then, Samma Sati, Samma Sama. Samma Sati, what did we learn with Samma Sati? As I already mentioned to you, we said Samma Sati, as it is very popular, It's not a stand-alone practice. Sammasati has to be practiced after Sammaditi, Sankappa, Vacha, Kamma, Aju, Vayama. Along that practice, you come to Sammasati. But once you practice 8 factors individually, then when you practice everything together. Right? It's like that you learning how to drive. You first try to get used to the steering wheel, and you get used to the gears, you get used to other things. But finally, you have to drive with everything together, right? At the same time. You can't just do one thing, right? You're going to do everything at the same time. Initially, you're going to learn one by one slowly, just to master yourself about that particular activity. All right. Sammasati means practicing different anupassanas. Do we have to practice all satipatthanas to become a sotapanna? Or maybe perhaps becoming an arahant? Do we have to? Do we have a very simple question? Maybe you should ask these questions from a monk. I'm asking from you. Do we have to practice all satipatthanas, kaya, vedana, chitta, dhamma, to become a sotapanna? Do we? No, we don't have to. We don't have to. Why? There's a shortcut. Not a shortcut, but it's an interesting shortcut. If you practice anapanasati well, it covers all satipatthanas. It covers Vedana, it covers Chittanupassana, it covers Dhammanupassana. Where is it given in the suttas? Anapanasati Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya. Buddha says, if somebody practices Anapanasati meditation in the proper way, not these recent ways, the proper way as given in the suttas. Always go back to the suttas. The proper way, especially Anapanasati Sutta. Then that person can bring that anapanasati to one's own feelings, one's own thoughts, sickness, chittanupassana. 16 practicing. That is up to them. Someone might say, no, I'm going to choose maybe Dhammanupassana. Some of the Dhammanupassana things. But the Buddha said, if you practice anapanasati well, then you will practice it. The same practice covers Vedana, Chitta, Dhamma. And I already explained to you in many those sessions, previous sessions. But now I'm asking you a very interesting question. What is it? Why anapanasati, I would say, breathing exercise, which comes under Kayanapasana, is so important. Why is it? I already explained to you in our sessions, in the Sammasati session. Why? How many of you have practiced breath meditation before? How many? Oh, most of you have practiced. And why is breath meditation very important? What are you doing in the breath meditation? Counting your breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Huh? Is it? Or looking at your tummy, my tummy is These are modern breath meditation. The Vipassana move. Start in the suttas. Looking at your tummy and looking at other places. Modern moves. They are not in the suttas. Why? It is said that when you practice breath meditation, what you do is that you're watching your breaths. The breaths come up with different styles. Long, short, maybe a mixture, whatever other variances. Whatever you do with the breath meditation as such is that you're going to watch your breaths arising and then existing breaths, and then how they pass away, how they perish away. In other ways, what you are doing overall is that you are going to refine your breaths, isn't it? You are going to refine your breaths. Now you see, people refine a lot of things. They refine sugar, they refine material, they refine crude oil, isn't it? They refine everything in the world. In the breath meditation, you are refining your breath. What will happen to you when you refine your... What is this refining? When you watch your breath, you are refining the breath. The more you refine your breath, the calmer you are. When you watch your breath, you know what are the physical attributes of your emotions. Let's say you're angry. What will happen? How do you know you get angry? Do we have indications that come up with our anger, our jealousy, especially anger, irritation? When anger arises in you, does it give you any indications? Yes. How do we notice them? Through the breaths. Through the breaths. You feel that I'm having a heavy breath, maybe I'm puffing. Then this is what we're going to look at. This is what we're going to watch. Then the true breath meditation is how to watch your breaths when you are negative in your emotions. Let's say you run into an argument with somebody in your household. Have you ever looked at your breaths? Or you are going to defend yourself in that event? What did you normally do? Let's say there's a big argument going on, then you may have not seen your breaths. The Buddha says that if you watch your breaths, then you see how anger is slowly arising, and how it is going to give you a hard time. Anger, jealousy, indignation, frustration, irritation, annoyances, all those emotions come. Whenever they come, there are changes in your breaths. That is why breath meditation is so important. Right? That is why. Then you see your emotions. At the same time, you see your different thoughts. Now I'm so angry because whatever I like is not happening now. So I'm going to do something for that. Then you see your chitta-anupassana level. You see your thoughts going haywire at that point because of anapanas. Your feelings go haywire, you see because of anapanas. Then you have to say, thank you, anapanasati, because I see my feelings because of you. Thank you, chitta. Thank you, anapanasati, because I see my thoughts because of you. Because of you. This is the way, how we look at it. So this is what we understand by the most important practice of Satipatthana Sutta, Sammasati, Anapanasati. Anapanasati is the bedrock in Sammasati. On top of that, so let me tell you, you don't have to practice all the exercises, Satipatthana. Just practice some Anapanasati as a main practice, but you can also practice Sampajanya and Iriyapata, posture meditation, and then full awareness. I think that's enough. Other things, because you don't need to cover up everything. What you want to cover up is what is mattering to your practice. So start from some Anapanasati and then practice couple others, and then bring that practice to Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammacakkapavattana. Covers everything. That is Sammasati. Samma Samadhi, the last one. Now, as a consequence of a very deeper, committed, continued, consistent practice of Sammasati, you are going into Samadhi. 4 jhanas. Not even 4 jhanas, then you are shifting your focus of your thoughts, mind onto the Vipassana. Samatha Vipassana. Right? And then what happens? Where is Panya? Why there is no path factor for Panya? No Samma Panya, right? Where is it? When you practice Samma Samadhi well, Panya arises naturally. It swells out of the Sammasati. It naturally arises. Whatever you think is wise. Whatever you talk is wise. Whatever you do is wise. You are a wise person overall. You are a full wise person. This is what we discuss about the path factors. And let me cover up a little bit more. Now, at the day 14, day 15, day 16, day 17, again we did about first noble truth, what is dukkha, then this is the tanha, the cause, and then this is the cessation nibbana, and this is again the noble eightfold path. Finally, the last 3 days, what we discussed was this Dhammacakka teaching. This Dhammacakka teaching is the very important one. We said the 4 noble truths have to be understood through Tiparivatta 3 aspects and 12 perspectives. I think you can read that because time is going very fast. That is what makes this sutta to get the name of Dhammacakka. A lot of people misunderstand Dhammacakka is a wheel and it goes from here to somewhere. No. Dhammacakka, the word Dhammacakka has come to this sutta because of the Tiparivatta Dvadasakara teaching of the 4 noble truths. That is why the sutta took Dhammacakka. It's not about a wheel that goes from one place to other place. But when the Buddha taught the 4 noble truths teaching with Tiparivatta Dvadasakara in many places, people understood it. At the same time, it was spread in that perspective. Otherwise, it did not spread as a wheel. So, setting the Dhammacakka in motion is giving the 4 noble truths with 3 perspectives and 12 aspects. All right. And it is repeatedly said that nobody can set the Dhamma wheel in motion other than the Buddha. Because only Buddha, Samma Sambuddha can teach the 4 noble truths according to the 3 perspectives and 12 aspects. Others cannot. Others will just say there are 4 noble truths. They cannot teach it with the framework of the Tiparivatta Dvadasakara. All right. Finally, the last 2 was the cry that went to different heavens, 6 heavens, and then 16 Brahma worlds. And you see this word Dhammacakka. Dhammacakka is what we call the eye that is receiving by anybody who is Sotapanna. In this case, monk Kondayan became a Sotapanna. All right. Any questions about the whole Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta? Because today is the last day for our discussion about the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. It's been how many months? It's been almost 4 months and a half that we took. Yes, this is the least actually. Might have gone a little further, but